G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Algrid and Algrid, who's that guy over there? I've forgotten who he is. It's been so long since we've seen him. I forgot his name.
Execute. This is Paulie. Paulie's the barkeep. He mixes Evercrack.
Haven't seen him in 6 months. I forgot what he looks like. He's a Texan.
Yeah.
To be fair, I have also lost 50 pounds since 6 months ago.
So thin he's wasting away. I can't say. He's thinner than me now. He's put me to shame. That's for sure.
I'm at 380 or 283.
283.
No,
I've lost. I'm down to 80 kilo. That's good.
Okay.
All right.
No, 50. Yeah, 80 kilo.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about the Titansuit and some of the stuff that we've found with the Titansuit. And we're also going to be going through, what do you call it? Some of the other stuff as well. But I also want to go over the website while Paul is here as well, and stuff like that. So we'll get it off to the the game. But we're here in Paul's hangar, and Paul's already in the exosuit. So, yeah, Paul, tell us your thoughts, because people have heard our thoughts yesterday on stream, but we'll go over them again in a bit. But
well, I would say something, but I currently am stuck in. I cannot move out of my seat. Maybe it's something like that. But anyways, it is. I would say it's good. Like I said, I can't move around on it at all because we're currently in the PTU version, and I am bugged. So
yeah, it happened to me yesterday. If you leave it for a certain period of time, it seems to become stuck. So I think that's what's happened. No, yeah, we'll just roll with it. So yeah, yeah. So tell me your thoughts on it now that you've had 24 hours or so to play with it.
It's really good. For those of you who know me, know that I have been waiting for things like this to come out, the Titansuits to come out, and it is exactly It's actually exactly. It's very interesting in terms of how it works, because it works very. I thought it was going to be something like a turret on a spaceship, like a tractor beam turret, but it's actually more. It's a little different because it's like an instant transmission. You grab it and it pulls it all the way. Like, oh, I can move again now. So perfect. Oh. So as you can see, moving around, I'll move forward a little bit.
Yep.
But this basically grabs anything and can pull it towards. So you can grab anything. I don't think I can, but it'll just instantly like. Oh, I can grab this. Hold on.
Yep. Yeah, it grabs it really quickly and it puts it above your head. It's really different to other tractor beams. Don't throw it at me though, because it will kill me.
It will kill you.
Piss Poor Pete's been running around throwing them at people like crazy. So yeah.
And you can do this.
It is actually weird watching you do this in third person though, because if you can, I know you probably can't see the screen because you're in game, but maybe you watch this later. But you have got a very flexible tractor beam. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yes.
It's got some very big flex.
You got to love that rope tech.
Yeah, definitely what they've put that to good use for. But it definitely picked up the speed at which you could load and unload things, so you can see what it's definitely going for the yes, I'm slower to move, but I'm designed to load analogy. We did try.
It's also less precise. It's like if you want to throw boxes, you can throw boxes, but you're not going to be able to like stack things really neatly. So
the nice thing I saw about that was when you flip the bed on its side, when you pulled it back up, it reorientated it up the right way.
Yeah. So we also did a cargo mission live on stream yesterday, and just packing the boxes it instantly throws them where they have to go, and they just click right in. So it's like light years ahead of the normal tractor beam now in that regard. But yeah, an exciting future ahead for where this seat could go. Now, Argid, you also tested some ships. The two that I was really interested in testing was the Redeemer. Now, me and Paul tested the Redeemer before, and it seems to have some kind of lock where it can't get through the door. And when we tried to tractor beam it in, it popped and kind of just disappeared. And then the other one that you tried on your own was the Reliant, and were you able to get it in with the tractor beam, or you?
I wasn't able to get it into it with tractor beam. I didn't have a tractor beam attachment, which made it difficult.
Yep.
But I couldn't walk it into the ship. because the door was too small.
Yep. So one thing I want to try is like picking up and rotating it sideways, because I'm wondering if that'll give you easier access to getting into certain ships. But again, I think those things will come out the certain days. But it essentially fits into where two single SCU cargo containers would go. So I'm hoping ships like, and the reason why I talk about the Redeemer and the Reliant is that the Tanner, sorry, is they both have two vertical SCU cargo containers. So I'm hoping eventually we could put a combat version of this in there. That's my thought process. Oh shit!
I wasn't able to walk it into a Pisces. The doors in the Pisces were too small. I couldn't walk it into an Argo, which naturally, because it's almost as tall as an Argo. I couldn't walk it into the 300i or the Avenger, but I could.
Oh, have a go.
But I could walk it into. Oh, you're floating.
Yeah, because I don't know. I was going to say Paul can pick it up while I'm on it, though.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Can't do it.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I could walk it into the cutter.
Yeah.
So I imagine the cutter Rambler, you'll be able to get it into. I could get it into the cutter Scout.
Yeah. So it definitely gives that ship another advantage over the Avenger.
So that again, for me, if we're looking at the best starter ship, the cutter has just risen again, because you can actually walk this thing in. It clipped a bit as you're walking in through the doorway.
Yep.
But you were able to get out once you're in. You were able to get out, and you had clearance. But that was my experience.
Something else while we're on it. I was flicking over the browser here. So Paul actually messages this to me, and what it was is actually a Twitter post that someone had remembered this image. Well, if you move off to one side, that image there is clearly a Titan suit now. That was this is 5 years old. This has been an Astro Armada all that time. Now, me and Agra did look at this all those years ago, but back then you couldn't kind of tell what it was. It is a little bit different. We just thought it was another spacesuit at the time, and we did bring it up saying, I wonder if this has got something to do with the Reclaimer. But the hand on that, and I know you can't see it because Agrit's head's in the way, so let me just open it individually. But that hand is dead ringer of it, and this is 5 years old. This piece of concept art.
But the other thing is, if you look at the feet, hang on, I'll go this way.
Yeah. Oh, I can move
the feet
it.
outlines where the soles of the feet are.
Yeah.
They, to me, were looking very much like the soles almost of the
suit itself. This obviously has to be a little bit different because it has to be enclosed to go into space. But you can clearly tell that if this is the case, then it's clearly a frame that other things are going to be attached to. So this also tells us there's more than likely other suits coming. It's almost
it's also
a confirmation.
It's also important,
so to speak.
It's also important to remember that this was a concept image, so it obviously wasn't the final thing. But you can see the evolution from that to what we have in game now, which says, again, both this and in lore, this is mentioned that there are multiple versions of these. They build a bunch of them for different purposes, for industrial purposes as well as combat.
Well, even Agrit, if you point up on this side, other side, there's a tank there. See the tank on the butt? That's clearly some kind of air or acetylene tank. That doesn't appear on the other version. I think we're going to get a slew of these. The kind of thing that we've been talking about is everyone obviously goes, there's more coming, like Paul said in lore. The question is are we getting a bunch of them at the same time, or are they going to separate them out? And recently they've been spreading things out so they sell better. So I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 at the start and then trickle them out after that. So we'll see.
And we were talking the other day, about possible variants, mining, salvage. I reckon easily a salvage version.
Yeah.
And you just see the salvage stuff going onto the back, sucking it in, and that kind of ties in with those types of missions we were seeing for Pyro, where you go down and get the loot. I could see multiple applications of this for the different tools or different way we play, different professions. So,
I think we are going to get a bit of flack for the name of it, though. Knowing there's an Atlas movie by J-Lo now that has mechs walking around in it. So, again, I wonder how long they've had this name. I have to give them crap for the name too because it's now Atlas platform, Atlas, Titan suit, or whatever they end up calling these things, Liberator twice time. Like that, it's like they're not learning at all. They're just doubling down and making the same mistakes again and again.
Cool name, you know, we'll keep using it. But yeah, I would have thought if this is an Atlas, I'd have thought this is Hercules because it's the one that lifts everything.
Yes, but then you also have the Hercules.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think it's almost certainly the Atlas stands for it's ATLS, so it's probably all terrain loading system.
I've heard so many different things. I've heard advanced transport. What was it? Standard landing. Oh, goddamn! You can make up any name. As Argonaut now is almost going to be a coin phrase of Inforunners, is they give us enough rope to hang ourselves. Advanced transport loading system. I think it was what was someone said.
Advanced transport, all terrain, but the LS definitely stands for loading system.
Loading system. So all terrain loading system. All terrain loading system.
Yeah,
because it could do it it could do it anyway. Yeah, you might be right there. Yeah.
And, you know, I could see these coming in, certainly if they do repair, I could see this working on, you know, capital ships, especially if it's got magnetic boots. And we know we all love those old magnetic boots. Walking on the hull, I could see this being used as a salvage tool, a bit like the old concept art. So I look forward to the variants.
Yeah, I'm just really interested to see where this goes. Like, is this just the utility one? Paul's walking off screen.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. And now he's walking. That's all right. I just wonder where else it's going to go. Like, what other manufacturers have and stuff like that. Because, like we've said for a while, this is clearly another category of like how you've got ships and you've got vehicles. This is another type of vehicle thing again. So if you've got ground vehicles, Titansuits or exosuits are going to be the whole another category again, and I think it's clearly what they're going to highlight CitizenCon with. I think now, I think we're going to get a lot more of this.
Paul's constantly doing Resistance is Futile with his ball guy coming out.
I'm trying to point down at you, old man.
Yeah,
you know, little little other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so the last thing so again, let us know in the comments what you think about this, where you think this is going. It is early days, yes, there's obviously a lot of bugs with it, but like now all the theories that we've had for years, they have merit. We always knew that this was coming, but we've kind of got tangible proof of it now, and all the lore stuff that's there as well. There's a lot of
the other thing I will say for people who are interested in this is that it does feel like it's going to be one of those really good tools for people who are loading and unloading large vessels.
Yeah.
So C2s, that kind of thing.
We didn't talk about that with you either. We still see it having a place based in weight. So, like smaller boxes are not so great for it because it moves so slow, but really big boxes, this has the place because again, trolleys are still a thing, the different tech levels, you know, all the stuff we've talked about before.
If you even look in the hangars, you actually see a Gravlev trolley that's sitting there, it's all powered down, it's just sitting there flat. And then other areas you see trolleys or vehicles with wheels. So even the Met trolleys had wheels. So
much like there's different tech-based hangars, there'll be different tech-based at the landing zone. So I have no doubt there'll be different tech levels of Titansuits as well, where electronic, fuel-powered, some be so for example a mechanical one won't be opposed to say EMP, but a battery one because it's electronic would be. So there's pros and cons to both, but then again the fuel one has heaps more emissions, is easier to see, etc. So it has weaknesses too. All right, so the last thing I wanted to go over that I didn't really have open, but I will try and bring that open now. And I'm going to the wrong place. I can tell is the website has been redone, and I thought this was another good one to go through with Paul because he has a background in marketing as well. And there was a couple of things that I noticed when we were doing this on the stream yesterday, Agrid, and I kind of want to get Paul's take on it because it's hard to sometimes take yourself out of this, and so just having his opinion. We'll see where it goes. Right. So the first thing I noticed, without going, obviously it's laid out differently, but where I think it's the most noticeable is where you go to the pledge store. And what they did here, oh, it's loading better than yesterday. It's not going all white like it did before. Is you'll notice that it now says game packages, ships, paints, and merchandise. So these are obviously their biggest sellers. And I think whoever has helped design this is someone from marketing, because they've put a lot of their profitable stuff front and center. But then the stuff that they kind of, I feel like they don't want you to see, or it's a bit more advanced, like the ship upgrades and the standalone ships, are in here. And the gift cards and things like that. And I just find that a bit weird, because you think from a veteran backer's perspective, most of what you'd be looking at would be ship upgrades. It wouldn't be standalone ships. And not only that, when you actually click on these ships, it goes to this older screen that is really hard to navigate. So the whole thing is null and void in the navigation department. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I think the other thing, I would probably give them the benefit of the doubt and say this is a work in progress. But yeah, Paul, I guess I kind of had heard Agrid's yesterday, and I'll let Agrid speak last. But what's your kind of take on the website as a whole, and do you think they're being a bit more markety with the website? Because that's what I feel.
I feel like what their main focus is with this is less to do with I don't know. I feel like it's marketing, but it's not really marketing in the same sense of the way as like, oh yeah, we want to push you towards that thing. I think the real thing that they want to do with this website is they want to get it ready for Squadron, because they know that there's going to be big announcements, and they want to get it ready before 4.0. They know 4.0 is coming out soon, so Squadron, 4.0, CitizenCon, all of these things happening pretty close to each other, and it's almost certain that Squadron itself is going to have a big time at CitizenCon.
Agreed.
So they wanted to kind of finally put a lot of stuff that would normally have they've been thinking about doing for a while into play. So.
Yeah, I'd agree with the Squadron 42 stuff. Agrid, your thoughts?
Well, I think it certainly looks crisper and cleaner, which is good. I do like in a store that you do have game packages, ships, and that stuff. I would like to have seen upgrades there, especially since the idea, ideally people would buy a starter pack and then upgrade that to the ship they want.
Yeah.
If I was, that was certainly the way it used to be. But the way they've done it seems to imply you buy this packet and then you add extra ships to what you've got. So
yeah.
So it does feel kind of that pushing people to spend more. And spend lots more than they probably need.
I would really, it's hard to say, hey, I'd love to hear what a new people says, because once you're a new person, you're not very new for very long. But I'd be interested to see, do you remember the test they ran of like running through the website years ago, and you saw people like paid testers would use the website, and they had to get to certain places to get paid, if you remember that?
Yep.
I'd like to see how that went with this. I think it is clearly designed a lot more at new people, especially with the very next thing after games is shop.
So look, I can remember being at PAX Australia in 2014 and being at one of the other stores that was demoing Star Citizen, and people trying to go to the website and not knowing where to go. And I was actually going, like, go here, go here, go here. And same when they were flying their ships back then, it was very difficult for someone coming in new to actually know where to go and what to do. And you had to have experience to be able to do it.
I 100% agree, because when you really think about it, you and I will learn the website eventually, because we've just learned to deal with that shit. But at the end of the day, making it the pivotal experience for the new people is, I think, is the way to go. In fact, I'd almost have it so it has a slightly different website. Like, you have a certain website before you even buy a ship, and then after you buy a ship, it becomes a bit more advanced and changes. That's how I would do it. Almost like before you've created an account and after you've created an account type of thing. But I don't know what you guys think about that one. So, yeah.
I think there's definitely some improvements that need to be made, especially for the front page. Because right now the front page basically has, like, it just straight up says, buy the goodies pack. And I think that's a bad move, because if they're trying to move it towards more players don't know what that is, and they have no idea. And if you just throw stuff at new players, like, they won't know what happens. So instead of having the very first thing in that, like, slide deck that they have at the very beginning, instead of having it be whatever the latest news is, it should just be the last update. So 3.24 release, 3.2, 3.23, whatever, 4.0.
Well, just
like that should be the thing that dominates, and then everything else is new should come after that.
Just real quick before you go, Algrid, because you read some of those things, and as a new person, they mean nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Algrid, go ahead.
My question is, I can see you're logged in as Execute. What does it do if you're a brand new player? What does it look like? So if you're someone who's not logged in,
It's exactly the same.
so it's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. The only difference is it brings up that thing about Squadron 42, Star Citizen, etc., and it tries to push you towards buying a starter package. So the Mustang or now it's switched to the Pisces. So that's the only difference. But as you all said, if this is the first step, because it feels like they've only really changed the front and the store, and as soon as you go deeper into the store, it gets into the older stuff. And I hope that this is phase one, because if we're going into a Squadron 42 era, and we're about to see a mass injection of players into this game, both Squadron and Star Citizen, we all know this is going to change quite a lot. We've been saying this for a decade.
Donkeys, and I think certainly as Squadron comes along, at some point we will have console users on Squadron. I just think that the number of people that's going to bring in to using the website is going to be massive.
Well, again, they might not have to. If they leave it as a completely standalone experience on console, but I don't know. I put this off. I'll ask Paul, and then you can answer too, Algrid. You play Squadron on a PC. You've got to think that they kind of prompt you to push towards Star Citizen, yeah.
I mean, I think Squadron is going to be pushed forward first because it's going to be out. But I do think that Star Citizen is still going to get the big attention on PC down the line. Like you'll have new updates when Squadron comes out, but I feel like what's going to happen is the lead up to Squadron, Star Citizen's going to take a back burner on a lot of their advertising, and then Squadron is going to take more of the focus. And then once you hit that focus, you will see. Once they hit that release, slowly they'll start saying Star Citizen, Star Citizen, Star Citizen after the fact. But yeah.
I did hear that new consoles that are being developed don't actually have a drive. It's basically using online access.
Yeah, that's the rumor that's going around, that the PS5 Pro doesn't actually even have a drive. But they've already had consoles this generation that didn't have a drive, and you could buy the drive to add to it. So it's a very scary future where you can't buy secondhand games. You can only buy the games directly from Sony. You can't go into an EB Games. I can't buy a game and then sell it to Algrid. So that means everybody's paying full price. One of the things I told my brother not to buy the digital one, and he literally sold it and brought the other one, because literally what I told him came to pass. He went to a store, and I can't even remember the game, but it was in a bargain bin for $20. He went onto the store and it was the full $60 price, USD. And he's just like, this is insane. I'm beholden to the prices they want to sell them to me for. And because they're the manufacturer, it's very rarely goes on sale. And again, there's no supply and demand there. It's just, there is only one seller, so they can charge you what they like. And it's a very scary future where that is leading, is what I'm trying to lead to. So the other part of this, I don't know if you guys agree with me on this or not, but PCs are now at the point that you can roughly get a very cheap PC for about the price of a PlayStation 5 or Xbox. So why the hell would I buy one? You know what I mean? I can do so much more on a PC. Yes, I can't play all the top-end games, but I can play games equivalent to that's already on the PS5. So, and all the different apps and games and all the, Photoshop, all the other things a PC does. I think consoles are on the ropes. I'm not going to lie. I don't think there's too many more generations of them. The only people that I know that are using them, as I said, tend to be the younger people that can't afford it. But they've now gone up so much in price that they're fighting with the low-end PCs. So I don't know. I'll ask you that real quick, and then I think we'll wrap it up, unless you guys have got something else to add.
No, I think the key is the console experience, the home experience, where you're playing your games from your couch and enjoying it from your couch, just as a couch sort of thing. That is always going to be a thing, I think. The big thing that is PCs can recreate that if they should, but like most PCs aren't plug and play. So and never underestimate how lazy people are.
Yeah.
So some people will straight up just not do it because they're just like, I don't want to do it because I'm lazy, you know. So
yeah, and I think that's the big advantage of the consoles, isn't it? But the advantage, I just plug it in, I can very quickly have it on my TV. I can have 2 or 3 players on the TV, whereas PCs, the usual setup doesn't lend itself to that setup.
Yeah. I mean, but I think you're right that we're in an era back like when we had in the early 2010s where PC gaming is now not necessarily cheap, but less expensive than it has been before, which makes it more reasonable. And with things like Xbox Game Pass coming out, a lot of people can just get Xbox Game Pass and play the games they want to play on that with a PC.
Absolutely. I think it's funny that it's kind of come full circle because Star Citizen, if you go back and watch the original trailer for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, was the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. They were claiming that consoles were going to take, and you now realize that this was publishers. Publishers were wanting consoles to take over, but it was never the case, and it was never going to be the case. But they were trying to put the fear of death into us, that PCs were going to die, and they were saying nobody wants to play space games. Look at all the games that came out after they mentioned Star Citizen. It's been a total, renaissance. And not only that, they're on the ropes. This was desperation, if anything. And it's now, 14 years later, or however long it's been.
Well,
yeah.
Anyway. That was the whole purpose of the Kickstarter, wasn't it? The Kickstarter was originally there to prove to the developers that there is a demand for a PC game that's in space. There is a market for it. That was the whole purpose of that original Kickstarter, to show that there is a market, there is a demand for it, and it is viable. And then all I can say is thank you, Sandy, for saying you don't need them. Go alone.
I want to get a whole bunch of streamers in these suits and do like the Nutbush Shuffle. Nutbush. What is it? Nutbush City Limits, or whatever, however the song goes. Just have them all doing the line dancing. I think that would be a really good, funny, viral clip. I think it'd be quite cool. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there today because it is very late where Paul is at the moment. It's after midnight. It's almost 1 a.m. for him. So we do appreciate him coming along for that. But yeah, what would you like to hear from people in the comments below, Paul, specifically about the Titansuit and the website?
I would say how many for the Titansuit, how many more would you like to see? And how quickly do you think they're going to come out? Do you think we're going to see, because it's one thing we didn't really fully talk about, but things like, do we think we're going to see one at Citizen Con? Do we think we're going to see one at IAE? Is this going to be one of those new things where CIG can just kind of go boom, 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 and release a bunch of them? And what kind of variants would you like to see?
Well, wouldn't it be funny if those 7 new vehicles were just all Titan suits? Just put it out there. I know it's not, but that'd be funny as. Anything about the website?
Do you like the change? Do you like the change? Is it something that you think is a good idea, a bad idea?
I think I'll add to that and say, do you understand why they're making it new player focus? Because that's going to, at first it ticked me off slightly, but the more I've used it, the more I've understand that actually fixes a lot of problems we've had with the website, that it's just not new player friendly. And it's going to allow more. Well, remember that guy we met, Agrid, and it took him like, it was like 5 days to get in contact with us because he couldn't use the website. So we found it easier to get in contact with me and you than to getting to try and use the website.
Try and work out the website, and then have people he felt he trusted or talk him through the website and how to get in and get stuff. And I'm sure there are multiple people who've had that experience where they talk to a friend or a family member who's into Star Citizen and has helped them get in.
So your thoughts that you want to hear about the Titansuits?
Yeah, again, what variants do you want to see? When do you think we'll see them?
I think a lot about the Titansuits. I just want to know: do you think we'll see one of these in the Reclaimer? Is this the power loader for the Reclaimer? So yeah,
I tend to think we will see one for Reclaimer because, and my reasoning is that whole the way they built Reclaimer to leverage that Aliens feel.
And they've done a lot of alien stuff lately, like the egg, in
egg,
space no one can hear you sing.
Yeah.
And where do you want it? That line is literally taken straight from the movie. So
yeah.
So I reckon, you know, we'll see it real, and even the suit itself has that feel of being that autoloader from Alien. So
does anyone want to bet that the trailer for this thing, if they've made a trailer, is heavily aliens inspired? Like the lights and sirens in the, you know, the ship coming up, and then the get away from you, like some kind of cheesy spin on that. I can see that, like
burning a Vandal off a ship,
something like that.
Yeah. I can just see it now. So something like that. All right, then. With that, then don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you everyone that went the extra mile at the end of the video on Patreon. You have more than willingly helped us out this year, especially with CitizenCon around the corner. With that, then, he's been Astropub. He's been Argrid.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.